Okay, catch you later then, Mike. Have yourself a good evening.
And
Countywide, countywide.
what's up, countywide?
I don't know, you tell me, we'll both know.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, we're both going to walk around clueless. 441 and Spitfire, working this antique glow and glass radio.
Yeah, we'll find out together. Come on.
We'll find it out together on the road of discovery.
Yes.
Life is nothing more than a road of discovery. Well, I hope all's well on your end, staying warm and all that jazz. I know I am with all these glow and glass tubes.
Yeah, it's nice and toasty in my house. That's for sure.
Wood stove's fired up, glowing glass is glowing.
Well, I got the pellet stove going on, plus the oil heat. Come on.
Hey, anyway, you get down the road of warmth when it's well below freezing.
Yeah, it's all good in the neighborhood. Come on.
Good night for Classic Radio Roundup.
Yeah, what you said.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Show you right.
Alright, I'll be on the side listening. I'll talk at you later there, countywide.
Take care, my friend. Good to hear you on my radio receiver. Hello, quarter wave Dave.
Evening again there, countywide.
You still sounding all right over here?
Yes, how's this sound, okay?
Yeah, it sounds okay. A little bit flat, but it's probably train approved as far as smoothness.
Yeah, well, this is a Contact 23. That's why it sounds flat.
Oh, yeah, 10-4 on the Contact 23. There you go. Well, I don't need to mention it, but since the topic came up again, I'm on the Demco Super Satellite.
10 for the Demco Super Satellite.
How's it sound, all right?
Yeah, it sounds good here.
Sounds roadworthy. Holy free holidays, tune them if you got them.
Evening, Sparky.
Is the audio level okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds nice and clean, nice and smooth.
Loud, clean, and smooth. I got that good trifecta going on, do I?
10-4, at least in this radio.
That's a big 10-4 good buddy. The Classic Radio Roundup warm-up session. Now's the time to tune them if you got them.
Check one.
Time to tune them if you got them on the warm-up session of Classic Radio Roundup.
Check one. Check one. Check one.
Check one. Check one. Audio. Film at 11. Big 20 dB over S9.
Check one.
Check one. Check two. Now where's my damn cigarette? What's that from? Do you remember, or do you know? The Sandman by the America. Now where's my damn cigarette?
Check. Check one. Check one. Test one. Man, that's hot.
What are you doing? You don't have that big steel tube on, do you?
No.
You got something going with a 40 dB over 9. 40 dB over S9, although the Demco meter is tight on the bottom and generous at the top, but it's good in the middle.
Just trying to keep that from feeding back. No feedback. Why is it doing that? It's coming through my headphone. Yeah. I think I'll check one. There we go. 27.115 on your AM radio dial.
Hey, Sandbagger.
Even round the band. Here we are once again with classic radio roundup.
I didn't think you'd make it on the roundup after shoveling all that snow.
Yeah, all that virtual snow.
Yeah, man, I was just about up to my from the sole of my shoe to the stitching of the body of the shoe. I mean, it was tough. Really just about immobilized things.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No pain, no strain. Good evening out there. Classic Radio Roundup Operators Night Train Base Station signing on. All right. Train's going to bless us with an early arrival.
Good evening, Classic Radio Roundup, gentlemen, and Sandbagger. Not to mention the train is in the station. Countywide Radio, LLC.
What's going on, Night Train? Hello there, Sparky. Hello there, Bagger. Hello there, Dave. Hello there, Countywide, and anybody else that are in there. I don't know who all in there because I really just turned it on and set it up. Train is on the side. Yeah, I'm tickled to death because I fixed my Heath kit. No more humming on the voice peaks here, don't you know? So let us know, what was the problem that caused that little thingy? Filter capacitors on the bias line. On the bias line, is that your input? No, it's the grid bias. A couple of 20 microfarad, 150 volt caps. They look like they were originals. So I replaced them and yeah, I'm not getting that hum on the peaks anymore.
What radio is this?
The Heath kit amplifier.
10-4 on the amp.
Is that the 220? No, that's B200.
Something's breaking up at voice peaks.
72s. Roger.
Something's breaking up on your voice peaks.
Really?
It did a couple of times.
Yeah, something just arced over in here.
Get in there and shout at it again.
I'd rather not.
Alright, well, keep an eye on things. It's not quite stable.
Yeah, how'd you make out digging yourself out of the blizzard there, bragga?
Well, you know, I'll tell you what happened. The morning of the blizzard, since the wife went in 2 hours late, and we coincided, crossed paths kind of time, we celebrated by making French toast.
See, there was a moment in history, right? Those little quality moments, you know, you don't forget them. Oh yeah, I remember that. We had the blizzard and we had French toast.
We had to use up the eggs, the bread, and the milk. Come on.
Yeah, because the radio said for us to, you know, get our groceries and everything in.
Hey, the Night Train.
Good evening, Dave. How you doing today?
Oh, extra tired. I had a lot of that snow to get rid of.
Hey, Roger, Dave. Where are you at? In North Wales?
Not too far from it.
Hey, Roger, I got like two pounds on you, a little bit more. 2 1/8, Roger.
Well, that's good enough. You hear me, don't you?
Yeah, I can kind of hear you down in there. You want me to swing that beam down that way?
No, you're fine. No problem.
All right, yeah, 10-4. Hello there, Dave.
Isn't anybody going to ask me what I'm on?
I can tell what you're on because I can hear you clear as day on channel 11.
Oh, good gravy. Well, it shouldn't be, because I'll even swing the video gate camera over to the spectrum analyzer. I got spurs, I don't know, they're all way down. At least 50 dB.
Yeah, well, you're not, I guess you don't have the bandwidth cranked down enough to see your in-band spurs, but I mean, you're just as strong on 11.
Yeah, I do have it cranked in. Oh well, then something's lying to me. But I'll show you the spectrum analyzer. I can't lock the mic down at the same time, but anyway, I'll get to it.
Hey, I heard you on channel 6.
Cool. Well, obviously there's still more work to be done, but I'm telling you, on the spectrum analyzer, it's the cleanest I'd ever seen it.
Yeah, I just spun the dial around. I can hear you clear down to channel 1, but you don't go any higher.
Well, in a minute, let me see if I can get this camera over there. Oh, it's keyed up. Ugh. Let's see. There it is. Probably I don't know how well that shows up on here. Let me see if I can get a better shot. Bear with me a moment. Countywide. Well, that's about the best I can do.
Sound like that guy out in California.
Yeah, you're still putting out spurs somehow.
Well, at this point, the only thing I could say is you're going to have to take a look at it. I need an expert. Because this is the best I'd ever seen it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because on-channel audio sounds clean, but it's just wide.
Unit operator, Ron.
Hello?
What's going on, Ron? You hear this radio down there?
Loud and clear. I got my RF gain, like, just around 11 o'clock, so bear with me. You know what my problem is.
A couple of things to talk about on this Demco, but I guess at some point I'm going to need the expert to look at it. We're going to have to take vacation day at the same time or something. Because I'm telling you, I ain't never seen it better on the spectrum analyzer than I do right now. Countywide.
Well, get yourself another radio with no antenna connected to it and dial it around and you'll hear it.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to... I guess I'll have to fool around with the cans a little bit more, but I did find a bad coupling cap. That was one issue. And the other issue was part of the tuning that I was doing wrong. It was telling you to put it in the cap position and tune it, but I missed the part where it said swap out the cap crystal for a channel 12 crystal. Aha, I said. Put a channel 12 crystal in there, and maybe I ought to put a channel 13 crystal in there and see if that cleans this thing up. And I could just, well, the problem is it kills the receiver though when you put it in the cap position, so you can't really do that. Anyway, we got to tune it up on an 11 meter crystal, not the 2662 crystal in there. That was a big aha moment.
Driving the amp, and that's why it's so wide.
Well, I am putting out some watts, but other radios I don't cover the band like that.
Oh, you got them all down on channel 6.
Well, it'll make no difference there. Quit dialing around the band looking for me. Just appreciate what it sounds like right here on this Demco Super Satellite.
I'm just glad you don't splatter upwards. You'll have channel 14 all upset.
So it sounds pretty good otherwise then, huh? And I do have the crystal oscillator must be closed because the receiver is just as good, whether it's on crystal or tunable.
That sounds good.
Well, maybe there's a little bit of a difference, not a lot though. Well, if it sounds good, I'm using it. Countywide, Demco Super Satellite.
Yeah.
Well, the Comanche's going.
Soul.
Soul!
Well, when's it going to be on the air again?
As soon as Debbie turns it on. It was on today on 36 low and brought it up to 10 meters today.
Yeah, I'd like to get that Swan to make it 300 or something. It's a couple hundred watts. I think it does sideband only though.
You got that right.
Yeah, on classic radio roundup.
27115 on your AM radio dial. Hey, I just gave a little bit of tune on my oscillator here while I'm on air. I left the cover off and all. And that actually cleaned it up. I was going by the receive signal, peaking. Dial around and see if I'm still covering a band, somebody. Countywide, 441, working this Demco Super Satellite.
That's much better. I can only hear you down to 11 now, not all the way down to 6 or 2 or whatever.
Oh, I bet I could do better, but you know what? In the risk of making things worse, I think I'm going to stop while I'm ahead for now. But you know, all that really did on the spectrum analyzer was spread out the peaks that I had on either side. It just put them further away.
Yeah, it sounds good. I don't hear you at all.
Yeah, you're not splattering like you were.
Alright, alright. I'm getting closer. That looks better on the O-scope, too. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you start spluttering around on this one here, then you're there. But you're good now.
Yeah, I bet I could do a little bit better, but at the risk of making things worse at the moment, I think I'll stop. I'm headed in the right direction. Baby steps, baby steps.
Shazam!
Bazinga!
Yeah, maybe those values are changing as it warms up too.
The plastic tuning tool. Let me try dipping the load and plate here. I think I'm right where I should be. Countywide radio.
No.
What do you mean no?
I'm starting to splutter again.
Yeah, it's overdriving or something.
Oh, well, that's messed up. Peak for maximum smoke. Should be right about there. Countywide. Hello, come here, come in.
That sounds good on channel.
Alright, well, we'll run with it and quit messing with it. Countywide radio running this Demco Super Satellite.
That's right, this has been the tuning session of the show.
This load and plate is pretty touchy on this thing, though. I bet that's it right there, according to the O-scope and the spectrum analyzer. Breaker, breaker!
Your mic ain't as clear as what it was a second ago.
I'm telling you, this thing is way touchy. How about now?
Yeah, it sounded better there. I thought you were going to leave it set where it was at and try it there before you do something.
This thing is super touchy. Load and plate really matters on this thing. Tune them if you got them on Classic Radio Roundup.
Brought to you by Carrier. You can throw one today.
Yeah, we're a good air conditioner.
Hey there, Tim.
You heard Tim out there?
No, I was just trying to stir him up. I didn't hear him.
What radio are you on, Sandbagger?
I'm on the Galaxy because I was testing.
Testicles, 1, 2.
Yeah, I think my advanced switch is arcing. I'm going to have to jump it out, I think.
Bad band switch. That's a pain.
Yeah, the 10 meter contact blew off. It's like something arced it off. And I just kind of jumped it to the 15 meter position, but I think I'm going to have to jump the whole switch just to keep it from doing that again.
Yeah, that's the case on my Heathkit SB1000 in the 160 position. It's just gone.
Yeah, the band switch is pretty tarnished, and I think it's just arcing across it because it's not making good contact. And I was pushing it a little hard, and I think that's what happened. Hey, Tim.
That's what she said last night.
Evening, Tim.
Hello, North Wales, Tim.
What's going on, man?
Who's that?
Which radio ain't tuned in very good here yet.
That must be the Comanche. Those things are real bugger to get tuned in.
Man, that's hard to understand.
Not enough carrier or something. Sound like sideband.
Yeah, that's hard to understand. I can't even tune them in.
Radio Roundup, where specifications are subject to change, terms and conditions will apply.
Check state and local listings for terms and conditions.
What they should have said when they predicted that blizzard, man. I took 2 days off behind that thing.
So did the contractor where I was tonight. This stupid ass never even went over there and did any work.
Well, with all that snow out there, Ryan, you couldn't fault him.
Yes, I can.
Why, because it wasn't as deep in his air?
I don't know. There's excuses after excuses with him and her.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, come in.
It's like Night Train said, they were predicting all that snow, so these here contractors rearranged their schedule and done something they could do in the meantime. So they wouldn't put anything off. So they put off that their work where you're at to do something else they could do with the snow.
Yeah, right. This is, she's got too many changes going up in the pot.
That's what happens when you do remodeling and stuff.
What are you on? You on your wire, your site?
No, I'm on my wire, the quarter wave.
Alright.
Quarter wave, Dave.
I don't sound right?
Sounds all right over here. You changed radios. Sounds better.
Yeah, this got more punch to it.
Am I still sounding clear?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not fooling around no more tonight. I'd really like to button this thing up, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I think it's still something that's unstable, but it is there, but it's a very narrow window.
Hey, you think by having the lid off messes it up too?
I wouldn't really suspect so.
Hey, like maybe stray RF hitting something on there too, huh?
I mean, you got to be able to tune it with the lid off.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, sometimes stray RF can attack it because there's not a shielding around it, you know, hitting certain things, that's all.
Yeah, I don't really think that's the case, because you have to be able to tune it with the lid off, and putting the lid on shouldn't change it.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
I don't think they had an 8-pill back then.
Don't touch the baby.
A 50 ohm load is a 50 ohm load.
my RF has gone astray.
My antenna is so far away, there's no RF from it. My antenna is 300 feet from the house. Countywide radio on this Demco Super Satellite.
Yeah. Hey, are we on the video gate?
Classic Radio Roundup video gate is in session.
Calling all ships at sea, all ships at sea.
You just turned the video gate on, or has it been running all along?
26 minutes ago.
27115 on your Classic Radio Roundup.
Oh, out there, Tim. Night train, waving, break all.
Hello, train. You hear me any better now out there?
Yeah, it got clearer. You had trouble tuning it in?
Oh, I switched radios.
Oh, 10-4. Yeah, we got you now.
Oh, that sideband's real good on that radio. It's just not the greatest radio on AM on that Sultronics.
Hey, 10-4. Yeah, I understand. Train got some new rubber feet around the house.
It works great on sideband. I love it.
Yeah, I think that's what they're favored on. That's like them CPIs, man. They don't do too well on AM, but boy, do they do a great job on sideband, Roger.
Unless it's one that you let Sandbagger tune up. You got one of mine working really well on AM.
And Roger. Hey, Sparky.
Go ahead, Night Train.
Did you see that CPI 2000, how much it went for, man, with no audio out?
No, I was watching it, though.
Yeah, it was $600 and something dollars.
Oh, man, all because they wrapped it up in a plastic bag.
I had two of them things. Now I regret it. That would have been a good investment. I let a good working radio with the microphone and the BC 2000 go for $600, and I thought that was a good price.
Yeah, but tell them what you stole it from me for.
Well, I stole one from you, and I stole the other one from Al.
Yeah, they were both mine, actually.
And I got them both working just fine. Sold one, and then I, kept the other, and then everything went to hell locally on 11 meters, and like, well, what the hell I got this investment for when I can get, an HF rig, and I basically traded it in for an HF radio.
There you go.
Enough to make you get rid of your radios.
Yeah, big mistake. I make a lot of mistakes when it comes to radios.
Yeah, that was a big one.
The beauty of it all is that you can replace them. Can you imagine that? Nobody would have thought that 37 years later, we'd still be selling, and swapping these things around.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, you couldn't have seen it coming, and the guys that are in there, a lot of them was around in the 70s also.
Yeah, some of us were around in the 60s.
Well, I never would have thought that the price in just a year or two on some of these radios would have jumped the amount that they have.
And they got what is called a collector's value now.
I understand maybe a little increase, but it's been a huge increase in the last couple of years. Holy cats. Like stuff that was, to me, still to me, ain't worth but $30. They're starting at 100 and going up.
Roger.
Yeah, thanks to eBay.
Thanks to Classic Radio Roundup, the Spew Radio Network, and the Video Gates. I think we're all guilty.
And the old Tube Radio Network, too. Speaking of tube, look at the price of tubes now. Anything going into a guitar amplifier, just forget about it. All the ones that are used and also the capacitors that are used in guitar amplifiers, the musicians have also jumped on the tube craze. 10-4?
Yeah, we're competing with the audio fools. Hey, just on a sidebar, anybody interested, there's a pretty cool magazine out there I was turned on to that I've subscribed to. It's all for vacuum tube heads like us. It's called Electric Radio Magazine. Thought I'd give them a plug.
That sounds nice. Sounds like we may be replacing all of our tubes with Russian tubes, bragga.
Well, I got still a pretty good stock of NOS RCA tubes over here, thanks to number 7 Leisure.
That's nice. You never knew how valuable they would be. But yeah, the musicians, well, along with the high-end audio people, are competing with us for certain tubes that are found in amplifiers, audio amplifiers, that is.
Yeah, like 6L6s and 12AX7s.
Stole the words right out of my mouth.
That's the ones that I'm referring to, along with the 400 volt capacitors, the filter capacitors. They need them also because they gotta have a high voltage. So now all of a sudden, all the high voltage capacitors are like going up.
Like a vintage Fender amplifier. Yeah, but the other side of the card is that they're making new tubes and new caps designed for those guys.
Here's a little sidebar. I don't know if you guys know, but the industrial equivalent for a 6L6 is a 5881.
Roger on the 5881.
Yeah, so maybe you can find a better deal on that because some people may not know, and they won't run the price up.
I found that out. You look for the industrial equivalents, which are more of a rugged tube. People don't know what they are. They're the ones you can get usually a little bit cheaper if they're not paying attention.
And that's going to be on your test next week, so you all remember that.
All 581 tubes the price will be up double on eBay next week.
That is correct. Did you, Classic Radio Roundup is worldwide. Are you sure it's 5881?
100% sure. Yep. I got a pair of 5881s in the multi-LMAC AF67. You can use, and I've tried 6L6s and 5881s. You can use either one.
Is it any better since it supposedly is industrial?
Hasn't made any difference that I notice. I'm just happy it works.
And what was the price of that?
I don't know. There are tubes that I had that came, I think the 5881s might have came from Tickle. And then I started looking into what they were. And then, 6L6, let's try them out.
Yeah, I was just wondering to mark it down so I could check it a couple of weeks, see if they went sky high.
You're usually around a $20 tube, $10 to $30, typically $20.
10-4.
There's also your EL34. I don't know if they still make them, but that's also a direct replacement for a 6L6.
All right, time to put some fire in the wire. Oh, darn, I just cut my power back.
I already thought you had fire in the wire.
Yeah, 10-4. There's the barefoot radio right there.
Fire in the wire? Yeah, there's a little bit more fire in the wire. Countywide.
I went the other way. Low power.
Well, I can go a little bit the other way. That's lower power.
And there, I even have a switch for lower power. That even cleaned it up. The old Browning Mark 384 watt swinging 10. Woohoo!
Somewhere around 15, swinging 60.
Bragger.
Good breaker.
Hello, everybody.
Is that the green dog?
Negative. Tickle. Breaker.
Ah, so it is. Hello, Tickle.
Hello, Spitfire, Sparky, Dave. That's all I've heard so far.
Breaker.
Guys have another breaker out there. Hello, Tickle from Train. There's another breaker, guys. Pick it up.
Go ahead, brother dog. What did you call me? Oh, sorry about that.
Uh-oh. This war. There shall be war. Yeah, something's not right.
Yeah, I think a war is about to erupt, but it's an honest case of mistaken identity.
I'm trying to shake it off. I'll tell you what, I'm down here at the Turkey Hill in Scandaltoga. I just got my smokes, I got my coffee. I chewed the fat with the guy behind the counter and acted like a moron. I think there's just something about this place. I don't know. Hey there, Seven.
Yeah, you and Saratoga don't get along.
No, me and Saratoga get along fine, but this place has history, remember?
Hello, number 7, and thanks.
Thanks for what?
Just thanks for being there. It's always a pleasure here. Number 7 coming right across my radio receiver.
Oh, well, you can't help but hear me. Good evening, Tom Pete, Bagger, Train, Quarterwave, Tickle. Anybody I missed, I'm sorry. I ain't heard nobody else in here yet.
Hello, 7.
I'm to you.
Quarterwave Dave, I'm gonna get you for that. Tag for that's an honest mistake. I got some noise coming in with you too at times. Not right now, but there's a couple others keying up at the same time. You just wait, you cotton picker. You're gonna be up here at 36 sideband one of these afternoons, and I'm gonna get you, Breaker. Tag for you're welcome up there. Tag for
Toto. They called you 2067, so look at the brighter side of it.
Well, I can handle being called 206, because 206 looks like he's lost a little bit of weight. It looks like he might be doing better.
206!
Yeah, 206.
It's a 206! Taxi service!
He came through town the other night, and he's got a Ford Explorer with a 4-foot fiberglass antenna mounted in the middle of the roof. And he's got his Galaxy 959 and his 2-pill hooked up. The radio has 0 receive. I got a quarter mile away from him and he couldn't hear me anymore.
Good sandbagging radio.
Good sandbagging radio. If you need a sandbag to keep out bugs or something, or a doorstop maybe. That'd be good for sticking on a battery and you know. Anything else?
With a 4-foot fiberglass antenna. Remember that time I was out in Denver? When you guys keyed up on me, man, I was coming home from a long, long ride.
You could call that a barefoot alligator station.
You know, I used those fiberglass antennas for years, and some of them worked pretty good.
It was all right. You remember that 97? And I said, well, where are you? You said, it's a secret. You're on Happy Valley. Took me a long time to uncover that secret, Doc.
You gotta play mobile if you want to learn stuff, you know.
Yeah, I was in Denver. I, didn't know anything about a Denver, PA. Now I do. We were passing through. I think I was coming up from Winchester, Maryland. 10-4?
Yeah, I remember them runs too.
I remember that.
You really like being up outside of Allentown, and the Northampton is up there. Southampton is up there, and Northampton's over there towards Holliesville, Telford area. And I keyed up the radio, and I was barefoot, and I just went, the Hamptons. And I said it like a New Yorker would. And old Wanderer was sitting up there on Happy Valley, man. He jumped right in there on that. How about them Hamptons? And his other buddy that used to hang out with him up there, I can't think of what his handle was, but the junk guy. He used to, I had them guys going for about 10 minutes till I told him it was the Hamptons in Pennsylvania.
It's fun stringing them on for a while.
Oh, you know, something, if they're gullible and the hook is out there, you got, like Trucker said, you got to reel them in and you got to loosen the drag and let the fish go for a second and think about what just happened. Then yank on it again. You know, you got to play with it a little bit. You got to tire it out. If you're going to land the big fish on the boat, you got to tire it out.
Just like fishing, just like you said. Tighten it up, allow a little bit of slack. Let them chew on the bait a while, get a good hook in.
That's right.
Well, it went from the Hamptons to a real good fishing trip with a big, gigantic trout on the other end of the line.
And it's always the biggest one that got away.
Well, we got a fish the size of night train one night. Oh, my God. And the fishing hanging with a fiberglass antenna. Yeah, we had a fiberglass antenna and a hand fishing kit, Breaker.
Francis had a pretty good fiberglass antenna. Same terms and conditions may apply.
Break for short. That's right. That's right.
There's a breaker in now.
All right, well, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys and let the breaker go. Y'all have a good one. If I decide to take a ride in a little bit, I'll say, hey, I'm just pulling up to my place. Nice talking to y'all. Number 7 Mobile. They call me Leisure. You guys have a good one.
See you later, number 7. Good hearing you. You sound better tonight. Let that breaker go, guys.
See you later, number 7 again. Thanks, brother.
Oh, you know, Pete, you know, anything I can do for you. You know what I mean?
That's right. One of these days we'll have to get up there and sling lead. I'll catch you. Take care.
When it warms up, I'll see you by. I'm 10-7.
Let that breaker go.
Number 7, go ahead, that short break.
Yeah, what channel are we on?
13.
Channel 13, 27115 on the AM radio dial. Channel 13 is the home of Classic Radio Roundup, where glow-on-glass radios are the most popular transmitters on the air.
I want a Browning portable here, and I was just wondering how this old Browning portable was making it.
Your old Browning portable is working it. Right over here to my Demco Super Satellite.
Yeah, super.
Back and let us know where you are with that Browning portable.
Here by the Pocono International Raceway.
Pocono International Raceway, no doubt about it. We're all down here in and out around the Pottstown area.
Roger, on the Pottstown area there. This was making it down there to you? You're the loudest I hear right now.
Oh yeah, it's certainly making it down here. Yeah, you're giving me a good, I don't know, 5 or 6 S units down here. No trouble at all. I'm on the northeast side of Pottstown, and I'm working this antique Demco Super Satellite.
10 Roger, right on.
Okay, I'll be on this. I just know it's awful busy. There's quite a few out there. I can just about hear, so I'll sit on the side and listen a while.
Hey, just let us know your name up there, Pocono Raceway, and what model Browning is that mobile?
Can't give you the model there of it there because I let's put it this way, I can't see, and I can't give you the number of the Browning, Roger.
All right, well that's all fine. I was just wondering if it was the D40 or the D60, but no matter. You're welcome anytime. Sit in and listen. Classic Radio Roundup, Channel 13. You got the Spitfire.
That's a trim model. Nice little radio out there. What was your handle out there, Browning guy?
Summer Sound and Song.
Yeah, I got confused.
Okay, I'll be on the side there, and I go by, on the AM side, I go by NAP 14.
I didn't quite get that. Come back with that handle one more time.
NAP 14, Northeastern Pennsylvania. NAP 14.
And Roger, on that NEG4G, any something, I think you said NEP4G, is that right?
NEP14.
That would be Northeastern Pennsylvania, 14.
Roger.
What's the personal on that end, John?
Is that?
What's the personal on that end?
John.
Dave, well, that's who I thought it was. Yeah, you got Dave on this end, 044.
Yeah, Dave. Okay, I know you came up there and talked to me already there. All right. There's a lot out there, so I don't want to tie it up there, so I'm going to listen.
Well, okay there, John. Catch you later then. Pleasure's been this end. We're on the side.
See you later, NEP14.
Okay. I can't give you the number of the radio.
That's all right. No matter. Nice to hear you on a Browning Mobile in any case. Classic radio, classic operator, coming in from a long way. And don't mind us if, you know, we get kind of quick on the key, but keep trying. You'll get in there. Somebody will notice you. And we'll eventually make room. Well, like you said, it gets kind of busy down here on Classic Radio Roundup. And we do look for the outlanding check-in. So we do appreciate your checking in there. 441 is Spitfire.
I just wondered if Joe from Bear Creek was in here yet.
No, I didn't hear Joe. I didn't hear him in there yet.
Okay, I'll be on the side. I'll be listening.
10-4.
Hey, what, John? You made a good trip back here to Pottstown. We appreciate you stopping in and saying hello. They call me the night train, 336 Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Okay, night train. You're making it up here to the Poconos.
Roger, Roger. I'm back on the side.
Poconos? Heck, you're making it all the way down here to Bucks County.
That's good.
Down below Quakertown. I'm over here in Solderton.
But Solderton, yeah. Well, I got an antenna up 87 foot in the air. It's an Antron.
We're making a good trip here. This is Tickle.
Roger, Dodger.
Yeah, high ground and a high antenna makes for a good distance radio.
Night train. Night train.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, he's a friend of Red Lions.
All right, yeah, he sounds like a nice operator. 10-4, you can kind of pick that up, Roger.
10-4. Yeah, that's Red Lion's personal is Joe.
All right, yeah, and that's John. Now, is he in the same area? Is that Red Lion going up that way, or what?
No, Red Lion's over by Bear Creek. He's up by Pocono Raceway, up that area.
10-4, yeah. Yeah, I never really knew where Red Lion was. I still don't. But now I know it's near Bear Creek, and I'm just as lost as I was.
And you went right past it going up for that bicycle.
Oh, man, it's beautiful up there, man. I'm still waiting to get the opportunity to go back up there. You know why I go up there whenever I can. Nice up there.
I think when Night Train goes on those air road trips like he does for that bicycle, I think you ought to pay more attention to the surrounding area he's going through so he knows where he's going.
I look at the trees and the grass and the birds, the sky, the clouds, and all of the beautiful things.
But you gotta look at some of the scenery of the buildings and what things are in that area. Like Maple Grove Inn is up that way, and Bear Creek, and places like that.
Yeah, I'm not good like that. I guess maybe if I had two horns, Dave, I might be able to do that. But you know, I'm a one cell. 10-4.
10-4.
Having some technical difficulties.
I've been able to piece that all together from just cruising around on my motorcycle all these years on back road cruising. After a while, you start to get it through all these little tiny towns and start to piece it all together, and you really can't get lost because eventually you come out on a major road somewhere.
Did you ever go through Harlem?
Yep, I've gone through East Texas.
10-4.
And then there's Dallas.
10-4.
to see the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. I still want to see that before I die.
Yep, been up there too.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet either.
That's up around Galton, ain't it?
Seems like we all should have been there at one point, huh?
Sounds like a road trip opportunity.
How about Shingle House? You ever go to Shingle House?
Heard of that one.
Sounds like a classic radio road trip.
Yeah, I went up that way, I guess it was probably 69, something like that. I took a trip up through there.
How about Galton or Jersey Shore?
Yeah, I've been to Jersey Shore.
Yeah, Jersey Shore, that one'll throw you off. You're driving along. Next exit, Jersey Shore. Like, wait a minute, I'm high up in the mountains of Pennsylvania. How can I be 3 miles from Jersey Shore?
Wonders of maps.
That's the way I went when I went to New York that one time, up through there.
Wellsboro, that's what I was trying to think of. Wellsboro. That's up near the PA Grand Canyon.
And 4.
Wellsboro, I think, isn't that the town that's got all the nice gas lighting down the middle of the street and everything?
Yeah, on Route 6. And if you want to take a really nice ride, take State Route 44 coming back. Man, what a nice ride. It's like riding on top of the world.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Pete, because that's the way I went up. When I went up 73, 61, caught 54 on the 44, and took 44 all the way up to New York.
Now, it would make sense that 44 quarter wave Dave would take Route 44 on his way up there. Man, that's a really nice road.
Up through Cherry Springs, they had a little airstrip up there, a campsite that people used to fly in.
Yeah, well, I'm not that intimately familiar about it, but you go through Jersey Shore.
To head 4. And 44, part of it up through that area was dirt road back then. And that dirt road was as good as the highways were here. That's how smooth it was.
Yeah, you get all the way up at the top where it crosses 144, and they run together for a bit on that peak. Now there's all kinds of windmills up there.
I haven't been up there in 20 years.
Well, you get up there now, you holy crap, look at these windmills.
Alright, well, I'm all done sandbagging on you guys. You guys have yourself a good night.
Evening, Doug. Bye, Doug.
Hello, goodbye, Badger.
Yo.
Hello, Badger. Goodbye, Badger.
Is this Demco Super Satellite still running clean?
It hums very slightly on your voice peaks.
Yeah, I think I see that on the scope. But it's not otherwise fuzzing out, because that was the original issue.
Oh, it sounds a lot better than it did then.
Hey, you know what else I noticed? I just now noticed it because the cover's off and the radio's on its side. But when I first replaced that neon bulb, it was on all the time. And I didn't recall it being that way in the past. And now that I've done the tuning and fooling around in tuning, now it works like I remember. It's off and receive and on and transmit.
Interesting.
Just thought you might like to know that. That is interesting, isn't it? So I guess that does work as a voltage clamp or something?
Yeah, voltage regulator, that's what they were saying.
Yeah, I think No Streak commented, and if you're bagging out there on Spew Radio Network, hello No Streak. I think he said, what, his Browning had one?
Yeah.
Well, just now that the radio is sitting on its side, and the way I'm sitting, I just noticed that it comes on now. So it must be a lot closer to tuning than it was. Maybe not 100% there, but a heck of a lot closer. One coupling cap was apparently leaky and or bad. Now the spurs are pretty well low and spread out. But there's still a little something at the peaks.
My radio makes a funny sound when I key up.
Yeah, something's wrong. Your radio squeals.
Yeah, I love when newbies come back. Your radio squeals when you key up.
Alright, I'll see if I can fix it. I tell you, Browning, they looked on the CBers as somewhat dim-witted people because they knew that that was a factory error. Then when they found out that the CBers loved it, they just kept on manufacturing them that way. Quality control ought to have been ashamed of themselves.
Roger, Roger.
Speaking of Brownings, where's Skeeter at? Maybe he's working.
Final test. I do think it's working.
Yep, you gotta like it when a plan comes together. Things are working.
Yeah, look at that. Forward modulation and everything.
Show you right.
Put the cover back on, shoved it back under the desk. I think we're ready to rock and roll.
Did you bypass that band switch already?
Oh, yeah.
Bagger works fast under pressure.
I can hear that.
All I did was take a piece of wire and just jump it across all the contacts.
Yeah, well, I think you're giving me like 20 dB over. On the Demco's generous on the top, loose in the bottom, but it's right on in the middle.
Yeah, it's working. It's working. Yeah.
15 over on crystal receive and 20 over on tunable.
I should have put the standby switch in there when I was at it apart. Darn it, forgot about it.
Boy, I'm really starting to look like an idiot, but I'm learning things here. That the neon bulb obviously has something to do with the crystal oscillator on receive when it's in the crystal position, but when it's in a tunable position, it's off. And when you transmit, it's on. Aha, so you can make it do both.
Yeah, it's the main crystal oscillator for receive too, but if you're using a tunable, you don't use that oscillator.
Yeah, it's all making sense to me now. I wish I'd have figured that out sooner. The things you learn by playing around. Our Classic Radio Roundup 27115. Channel 13 on the AM radio dial. Tune in weekly for you don't know what.
Yeah, weekly.
Same time, same channel.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
A lot of the same players.
That's right.
And you can't tell the players without a program.
No, you can't. Ooh, now I'm getting feedback. Ain't one thing, it's another.
Oh, you'll hear classic sounds like that.
I hate screwing around with stuff that you fix what is supposed to be fixed, you can't find nothing else wrong, and you still wind up with a problem.
Well, now that I get all my stuff squared away, I guess I'll fire up a classic radio.
On Classic Radio Roundup. (27.115) on the AM radio dial. I have an interesting setup. I hope it turns out all right on the video gate. Got the tablet a bit away, But I am capturing the entire Demco, which is no easy task, as well as my O-scope and the spectrum analyzer.
Ooh, proof's in the pudding there. How did your audio come up at all? Oh, let's see, I'm squirrel. Did your audio come up on the recording at all? Malfunction.
I won't know until playback, but I'm hoping so.
Well, at least you don't sound like you're in a foam cup.
On the Demco Super Satellite. I just hope the video gate turns out alright. It looks okay from my perspective. I just hope it turns out. So you'll have to give me some feedback.
Yeah, it got quiet.
27-115. Pause for station identification.
Classic radio rules.
Alright. Here we go. Classic radio with the classic radio roundup here.
Hey, you know, maybe we should change that. All these tube radios are junk, they're crap, they're unreliable, they're too much work, too expensive to work on and maintain. Just get rid of the junk, sell it for just give it away. Don't even sell it, just put it out to the curb. Scrap it, because they ain't worth nothing.
Yeah, you ain't worth nothing.
Roger, you ain't going to do nothing. Yeah, if you guys do decide to get rid of the radios, kindly bring them over. Make sure you insulate them to keep them from banging against one another, and kindly drop them on my doorstep. Bragga, bragga.
That's right.
Don't let none of them get hurt. Pack them real well.
Yeah, even junk deserves to be treated well.
That is correct. I'm all for this junk, man. I love these things. I don't even really chase after transistor radios.
No, I don't look after them either. If they come to me, that's one thing. The tube ones always grab my interest.
I'm basically just after the radios that I remember from back in the good old days.
Me too, but I learned a few other radios that I found was attractive, so I got kind of caught up in it.
Oh yeah, that and the fact that some of them were just dream radios, you know. Everybody wanted a Browning, but nobody could ever afford one. Now it's nice to have one. Same with a Tram D201 and Titans and yeah, all the radios that you always dreamed about but never could afford.
I didn't even have a Cobra 29 back in those days. I was restricted to Realistic and Sears, Lafayette. You know what I mean? Even a Cobra radio was a step up for me. That's what got me back into this hobby, man. I ran up on a Cobra 29 right there in Cash Converters, and boy, I should never have touched it. Roger?
1974, after Dad put a Sears 23 in his mobile, he kind of wanted somebody to talk to, and we talked him into letting us set up a base station. He bought us a Radio Shack 5/8 wave metal ground plane, the coax to go to it, and a Fanfare 23 base station. Break up.
Yeah, buddy.
We were king shit. All of a sudden I went from, I'm sorry, but we were kings. We went from walkie-talkies to a D104 on a full-size base station with a 5/8 ground plane. Man, I was amazed at it was more than just a couple of blocks. I was talking from Abington to Willow Grove. Holy cats.
Block wide.
That was a big jump.
Yeah, it was.
I could talk to Glenside, Jenkintown, Elkins Park. That was pretty far, kind of. Huntington Valley. Roslyn, they were neighbors.
Yeah, out there in Walter Schweitzer's area.
We were really close to Edge Hill Road on Susquehanna, so we had good high ground, and that obviously helped. With an old Dutch colonial house and the antenna on a 10-foot mast off the attic window. It cleared the roof by about 8 feet.
And if you're on good ground, that's all you needed.
I probably could have worked you guys in Norristown, that, you know, on a quiet night, but, you know, wouldn't have been big signals or nothing, but I bet we could have done it.
Oh, there's nothing to bet. I know you did because I've talked to people out in that neck of the woods. You know, and it's quiet. There was a group of people that I used to talk to out in Hatboro. And, Glenside, Hatboro, Roslyn, a couple other people out in that general vicinity.
Well, you know where Edge Hill and Susquehanna is. We were a block east of that. And we got out really well, so yeah, we probably could have worked.
Yeah. So I used to give the one guy an 8 when I had the Maverick 250 fired up.
Well, I didn't know nothing, zero about amplifiers or out of band or any of that nonsense. We were strict. You know, the best thing we did was put a D104 on, and we thought that was the shit.
Of course, this was the early 80s, so back in the 70s, yeah, I probably still could have done it. With the little context and all.
I'm talking 74 to 76. Well, this would have probably been 74 to 79, early 79. Then we moved up to Harleysville.
Yeah, 74 we were on channel 11. 75 we moved down to 10. And 79 we were on 13. Don't you know?
Well, I had been off the air until 81. Then I bought, well, no. I did put the ground plane up, but it was on the ground. It wasn't up very high. And there wasn't much activity. And then girls in high school kind of took over. But I did buy that realistic 441 at that time. Ran that for about a year, and then it was off to the Navy, man.
Yeah. That kind of took up all your time.
But I kept it. And then when I eventually wound up down in Norfolk with my own place, I did set up down there.
And it worked.
Man, that Tidewater area, you could really cover some ground down there. I could get up on the Delmarva Peninsula barefoot. I didn't run no amp back then either. 5/8 wave ground plane though. And I was right in the back bay.
Yeah, it was all flat down there.
Flat, and I was in a marsh.
Excellent ground plane.
Most of my going out one way, it was like 2 blocks to the Chesapeake Bay, and getting up to the Delmarva Peninsula, there was nothing in the way. I was amazed, barefoot, like 30 and 40 mile shots, easy.
If you could hear them, you could work them.
That's right.
Low takeoff angle.
I didn't know about radio then. I was just, you know, your dumb CBer more or less back then. Just used it as the social media of the day. Hello, Chuck.
Good evening.
Can't say it enough. Demco Super Satellite.
That's what you're running tonight. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, not without a lot of painstaking work. I still don't think it's completely done. There's still an artifact popping up now and again on voice peaks on the O-scope, but it's a lot better than it had been for a long time.
You know, I never knew of the Demco series of radios until like the 90s. And you know, I was on like you guys back in '75.
Well, since I'm talking about it, I think that's where I remember first hearing about it, when I was running radio down in the Tidewater area. But you had people from all over, probably like myself, bring their CB radios with them, so you got a mix of people from all around the country, you know, a lot of military there. And I remember a guy running a Demco, and he used to say Demco Super Satellite.
I remember the trams and the Brownings, but never knew about those until kind of like after the fact. I guess nobody in my area had one.
Yeah, I don't think they were cheap.
if you remember Doug, the contest Doug, he had a Browning Mark III back in the 70s.
Yeah, I remember him. He's still up there in Hatfield.
Yeah, he used to go by Sneaky Smokey. Had a Browning Mark III.
Bing!
Matter of fact, I got a recording of him.
Uh-oh, that could be fun.
About the closest Mark III that I can remember.
You ever talk to anybody on a stoner?
Never knew anybody that had a stoner, ever. I never even heard of a stoner until, you know, the internet came along and we started exchanging notes on radios and stuff.
I saw a guy in Timonium around 1998 at the Hamfest. He had 3 on his table. And he also had the options, too.
I knew of Brownings in the 70s only because the guy right down the block from us, some older guy in his ranch house, had a Moonraker 4 up on the roof of his ranch house. I don't know if there was dog poop around it or not, but I know he ran a Browning because that thing always squealed, and he ran it on sideband a lot. And then, you know, got the womp womp, and he'd be on AM scream, and he was always bleeding me.
Yeah. Well, I knew a bunch of people that had Brownings, but not too many people close. There was a girl in Roxborough named Linda who had one. And, of course, Captain Coleslaw had one. And there were a few others around, but most of them were down towards the city.
They're a fun radio to run.
And I knew a guy up, up above Trooper that had a Trooper Harleysville somewhere named Dennis that had a D201. That was probably about the only D201 I ever knew.
This thing has one of them super beautiful tube-type radio squelches.
Gotta love them.
I always liked the look of the tram.
I always liked the Titans, the Titan 2s and the D2. Oh, the D201's a nice looking radio, yeah. Always liked the looks of them.
Yeah, I like the Titans. The Titan looks like a radio to me. This Demco Satellite is kind of damn sexy, though, if you ask me, with black trim on the bottom and all chrome across the top.
Lots of knobs.
Lots and lots of knobs. 3-piece radio, break up!
No mistaking, that radio is a steel chassis rig.
All steel, all the way around. But the speaker box, man, if you don't have the screws tight on the speaker box, it'll rattle. You gotta make sure they're good and tight.
Yeah, you mean good and tight.
Oh, just like the German girl. The German girl, guten tight.
Ja, das ist gut.
Das ist los.
Nein, for some lager, yeah.
That's right.
Show you right.
Cobra 139.
I ain't switching. This thing hasn't been on running right in a long time, so I'm running it to make sure nothing goes up in flames.
Yeah, I gotta run a classic though for a good part of the roundup anyway, so I threw this thing on.
You have reduced output, have you, to your normal?
Yeah, this is my normal power level.
Just for S-meter calibration type in my head purposes.
Now it's a signal now.
A little over S9 on Crystal and 10 over on Tunable.
Oh, so you're getting a little bit more oomph out of the tuner.
You know what? Yeah, only a little bit though. Only a little bit. That shows that I'm really close.
Yeah. Yeah, that does help.
For right now, I'm going to rest on my laurels because, you know, it was pretty well out of whack still since last week. The tuning is way, way touchy on this thing. I don't think it should be as touchy as it is, but it is.
Yeah, it makes me think there are other capacitors in there that are on the borderline or something.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
I don't think if this capacitor is going bad, but evidently, I guess maybe the brand that they were using, you never know. There might be just some bad ones in there.
Yeah, I did some work on this radio last week.
What, on the Yaesu?
Yeah.
What'd you do to it?
The remote VFO was off 300 cycles, and I calibrated the S-meter.
300 cycles. Ooh, yeah, okay.
Well, you don't notice it on AM, but sideband. Sounds like your shorts are too tight.
Yeah, it would bother me too. I like to be as close as I possibly can.
Oh, yeah.
So, and the S-meter was always reading S1, and then everybody's signal was like 25 and 30 over. So, I followed the service manual and recalibrated.
You have a signal generator to put an accurate level in?
Yeah, pump that in so many, you know, a certain level.
Yeah, usually 50 microvolts for S9. Some say 100 microvolts. I don't know why there's a difference, but...
I was on 75 meters, and everybody's giving me 40 and 50 over.
There's Skeeter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I hear Skeeter out there in the distance.
Yeah, he's lobster and Opsu out there.
Russia Opsu Mobile heading downtown.
Oh, you're going the wrong way.
Tell me you're going the wrong way on a one-way street. I got a tractor trailer I got to tow.
He's working during the roundup. That's just wrong.
I know. I was home. I was listening to you guys. I was cleaning the switches on my Mark II.
I was only going one way.
Yeah, right. It's a one-way street, but I was only going one way.
That's right. I got a question for the sandbagger, a technical question for this evening.
Yeah, shoot before you get out of range.
You know when you take old switches, like a channel selector on a Browning, and it's got like, the contacts are like black, is that a protective coating?
No, that's tarnish.
10 Roger, 10-4. Okay, I cleaned it all off.
Yeah, you can usually use alcohol or actually lemon juice or something a little slightly acidic will take it off too.
It's tough to get in there with a Q-tip, so I used a little bit of brake cleaner on a Q-tip and squeezed the excess off and then rubbed it off.
You gotta be careful using brake clean because if it gets on the wrong kind of plastic, it'll disintegrate it.
I know that all too well. I had one switch disintegrate right in front of me a couple of years ago, and I'm not going to do that again. But that wasn't brake cleaner, that was carburetor cleaner.
That's pretty much the same stuff. But yeah, I had a customer many years ago that tried to clean their channel selector with it, sprayed it all inside the radio, and just like destroyed everything that was plastic.
Yeah, I did found corrosion on one of my SD Nuvister tubes, SD4, whatever they are.
6SD, the new misters.
Yeah, a couple of the legs on the one tube there were corroded up pretty good, but I cleaned them. I don't know how good it's going to work.
Well, it'll always work better if you make better contact.
Yeah, it'll probably work a whole lot better if I had a new one.
Yeah, new is good.
You want to get the carbon off of there. The other stuff, the oxide, is conductive. That silver tarnish oxide is conductive. But you want to get the carbon off the contacts.
Yeah, the black stuff.
That's about what I did. I got it all spick and span.
Spick and span.
Them switches are night train approved. I use the Q-tip.
Yeah, everything must be night train approved.
Well, he does have high standards on cleanliness. I've seen some of the inside of them chassis.
I got the AAA1 Plus Ron approval on the Demco Super Satellite.
Night train puts a mirror finish on them bad boys, them chassis.
Yeah, I have yet to do that. I just cleaned the dirt out of them, but they're still kind of dull looking.
That's about all I do. Blow them off and so forth. That's about it.
They got to be reflective.
I never knew you can get them that shiny. I saw pictures of them like that. I'm thinking, what the heck kind of chassis is this guy using? He's painted or something?
He turned out aluminum into polished aluminum with some mother's mag wheel polish.
Yeah, a little navel jelly.
How's this radio sound?
Slightly off frequency.
Okay, 4.
Did Tim ever get that Celtronics woke up?
Tim's got the Siltronics.
Yeah, did he get it on the air? Was it sounded all right? I heard him earlier. It was all muffled.
Yeah, he switched to another radio.
4. Yeah, he must not have had it tuned right.
They're a little tricky to get the sound good on AM. You got to set them up and just that carrier level just right and not have too much byte gain. And yeah, it's tricky.
Especially that, I noticed the screw in the back for the 40 milliamps. You got to get that bad boy just about perfect.
Oh yeah. If you don't have that set right, then you're going to be under biased, or that's not going to be good at all.
Operator!
I'm on low power on SBE.
No, that don't sound good. Well, that's lots of OPSU checking in, and I'll be checking out real shortly here. We got to go.
See you, Skeeter.
Hey there, Skeeter.
Right back 044.
Catch you later, Skeeter.
Oh, who is that way out there?
Roger.
I gotta go make some money so the rest of America can eat. Gotta go,
Make that money. Vicious rumor that we're going to get another snowstorm on Sunday. Hopefully it'll be like this last one.
Well, we're supposed to get one tomorrow, too.
Yeah, it's not a storm though. It's just another one of those
clippers that comes through and dumps a half an inch or an inch on you, and then you got to deal with all the salt again.
Tomorrow? I heard Friday. I didn't know about tomorrow.
Tomorrow night into Friday.
10-4, Roger.
Yeah, it's not really supposed to amount to anything. It's supposed to be a nuisance storm.
So what's the receive like on that Demco, Pete? Is it relatively wide-banded, or is it like the sonar?
Well, it's not the sonar, and it's not the bus. It's a pleasant right in the middle of those two. Because I was listening earlier when there were some hot stations next door, and obviously you can it dealt with it pretty well as compared to the Cobra. I'd hear them, know what they were saying. The Demco, I just kind of knew they were there, but Fidelity, it lets the Fidelity through without being a barn door.
Okay.
And the receiver's hot. Even on the crystal or the tunable, pick one, doesn't matter.
That's good when you have a good quality receiver.
New Vista tube in the front end.
Yeah. New Vistas are nice, low noise, high gain. Yeah.
They were the peak of tube perfection right there.
Well, that was the next step in the evolution of tubes. It probably would have continued, except transistors came out. And it was like, oh, we don't need small tubes, we got transistors.
Yeah, but they did get those things just right. And I'm glad they did hit that and use them where they did, because they're great in the front end.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of different ones. I know the 6CW4s and the 6DS4s. I don't know how many other types there are. I haven't really run across too many.
They're the only two I've ever run across. I didn't know there was any more.
Yeah, and they're similar but not interchangeable. I think you can sub one for the other, but not the opposite way. I think you can put a DS in place of a CW, but not the other way around.
Somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I remember running into that something like that is true.
Yeah, because the DS has a much better control for like AGC and whatnot. It has a sharper cutoff or something, and so I mean, if you're using it in the front end and in the AGC feeds back to it a certain way, and you put the other one in there, it won't work quite right or something. It might be prone to overload. But if you don't need it, like if you're using a 6CW, then the DS will work okay for you.
Yeah, that's right. Classic radio roundup. Even tubes in a can. Whether you can actually see them glow or not, they still got to fill them in.
Yeah, they do when they get hot.
Show you right.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Time and time again.
Yeah, she's always saying that. She must be pretty darn active.
Well, since we got sort of seems like a lull in the activities, I want to do a little playing around a second.
Uh-oh.
All right, switch radios if you got them.
No, not switching radios. That's the modulator. I don't know that. Hello. That's the modulator in line, breaker.
Sounds more like the unmodulator.
Yeah, your modulation dropped drastically.
Oh, wait a minute. Yep. Alright. Maybe I don't need to switch. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. There we go. That's not very stable there, is it? Oh, radio.
Right there. Yeah, you got an open ground or something. You got a buzz coming in with you.
Well, I'm trying to use the modulator. Doesn't like it with very much gain. Hello. Let me see what I can get away with here. Hello. You can't give it very much gain or it freaks.
Yeah, plus the buzz.
Forget the modulator. Oh well, it was worth a try. You gotta try these things, you'll never know. Gotta look into that.
Probably has some filter caps or something in it that need replacing.
What is that? Oh, no, that don't want. Hello. What's that sound like? Not good either.
Yeah, I think the receiver on this Cobra is needs a little attention because everybody sounds a little raspy on it.
Yeah, this thing is still not quite stable on this Demco Super Satellite.
There was a breaker out there.
Come on, breaker.
Who was that breaking? Evening, Dozer. Sparky waving back at you on Classic Radio Roundup. I got you good and loud. Yeah, Road Devil on a Johnson. I like that combo. It's loud and proud, man. You don't got a lot of power, so that's what you need. Modulation.
I do hear him here in the volcano crater.
Yeah. Where'd Night Train go?
On Classic Radio Roundup, specifications are subject to change without notice at any given time.
Alrighty, let's try this radio.
That's right, stuff can break at any time.
Yeah, stuff can break at any time. You never know.
That's working good.
Midland 13898B. 5A.
Yeah, that Midland's not middle of the road.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had to do some low frequency enhancement because this thing just sounded way too thin.
Yeah, I like it though. It's got a real natural sound to it.
Yeah, it sounds good now. It really does. It's not bad at all. I wouldn't call it hi-fi, but it's a little bit more enhanced than it was.
Yeah, good looking radio too.
I like it. I like the looks of it. I know Hole 05 used to say this is an ugly radio, but I don't know. I don't agree. I like the looks of this 1970s high-end audio gear looking.
Yeah, Tom's is 2517. Now that's an ugly radio.
Uh-oh.
And the testing begins.
Maybe I'll have to go get in the high gain or something.
More quieter. I can spank it up almost to your 9.
I hear some folks way out there.
I'm just going to be listening here for a minute. I'm reprogramming a repeater for somebody, so I don't want to interfere with nobody. I'm going to be standing by.
Was that Henry's crew down there? Did you hear them, Spitfire?
Yeah, it is. Well, sorry about that.
Hey, what's going on?
program brought to you by Fred's Voodoo Emporium.
Fred's Discount Voodoo Emporium, where our motto is, if you want someone dead, come and see Fred.
The sole importer of Grandma Jemima's ganja dipped stainless steel voodoo doll needles. So if you really want them dead, you gotta go and see Fred.
That's right.
Yeah, hurry no more. You stab 'em, we slap 'em.
Yeah, or the roadkill grill. Our meat is our meat is sweet because it comes from the street.
You dice 'em, we'll ice 'em.
Street meat, that's what we call the sandwiches you get from them little carts on the side of the road in Center City. Call that street meat.
Yeah, we call it the roach coach.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that comes to the job site and folds up his doors, and you get some kind of food from him.
Something that slightly resembles food.
Yeah, semblance.
Yeah, kind of like getting the food out of the vending machines at work.
Yeah, you don't know how long that stuff's been sitting there.
If you get coffee and it's a cup, like a Greek cup that has Greek writing on it, it's not going to be good.
Important safety tip.
It'll work, but it won't taste good.
And that's your Joe Cartoni tip for the day.
You're a greengrocer. SWR is even good in the cold weather. I think I guess all the snow melted off my antenna.
Yeah, I woke up the other day after the first snow we had, and I had some snow on there. I came in the morning, just turned everything all knobs to the right, and said, I'm going to melt that snow off of that antenna. I'm just going to sit here and ghost talk for a while. A bunch of folks came in. And
yeah, I had some on the beam, the boom, and I just hit the rotor back and forth a couple of times, and it shook it off.
It just gives you an excuse to get in there.
As if you really needed one. I don't think anybody needs an excuse to get in there. It's all there. It's all good. Oh, yeah, everything's good.
Yeah, I was shouting from the Betsy Ross Bridge today back this way, and then I found out I had inadvertently bumped the band switch on that stupid AM FM Striker radio.
So you were like 27, like 700 or something.
Yeah, I went down the thing, and I can't stand when I do that because it's just not right, you know, but there were people down there.
Yeah, it's actually not bad. There's fewer people down there, so you can actually make contact.
Well, I guess that's why I didn't even think about it not being, you know, set right there. It was just an honest mistake.
Sure, Mr. FCC man. I was an honest mistake. I swear.
It was a one-way road. I was going that way. No, I know. I say that they're good radios. When you look at them, Bagger, they got a Magnum board in them. It's a copy of the Magnum.
Yeah, probably all made by RCI in some way or fashion.
Yeah, it could be. They got a 2290 in the back of them, and it's driven. I don't think it's MOSFET driven. I think it's like a 1969. I'll have to see what's the pre-driver on.
Yeah, I hope so. I hate them MOSFETs. They're too damn unstable.
MOSFETs suck.
Yeah, big time.
Gentlemen, this is the Night Train reporting live from the Night Train base station. I just want y'all to know that was Dr. Hammer on the phone. He says hello to all of you, everybody out there underneath the shadow of my antenna. Doc Hammer says hello from Kansas. He's listening, so y'all can go ahead and give him a shout.
Yeah, speaking of which, what's the deal there, Pete? You still have router issues or something? Kind of missed Doc Hammer joining us for the roundup.
Missed him too.
Specifications are subject to change without further notice.
Well, Dr. Hammer, you're listening. Good evening. Welcome to the roundup. Hopefully your new year is off to a good start and all that other good stuff.
Same here, Doc Hammer.
Everybody else he was listening to a bunch of us.
I guess he's on the Spew Radio server.
Yeah, he said that he was logged in.
Yeah, I got 3 people logged in.
My little radio doesn't make it over there.
Mine makes it over there. Good evening, Dr. Hammer from the night train base station working this Trazy tram. Breaker, breaker, break.
Are you on the D201A?
Yes, sir. How's it sounding, Bagger?
I'd say it's train approved.
And Roger. Yeah, the only reason why I'm on it again is because I changed out, a tube and I rebiased it. I had to set the bias and set the neutralization thingy. I went to the 6L6 type as opposed to the 6DG6 type. And so I did the adjustments and I figured I'd go ahead and run it just to see, if everything is all right.
Yeah, there's really not much you have to do to put that tube in there. Out of one resistor, you jump out and reset the biasing and all.
I don't know about the resistor to jump out. I didn't jump nothing.
There's a little 10 ohm or some resistor from the cathode to ground that they put in there for the DG tube, but it's directly connected to ground on the 6L6.
One more time, I'll write it down.
Yeah, there's a resistor from the cathode to ground. I don't remember the pin. Is it pin 9 or pin 8 or something? I forget, but it's like a 10 ohm or something. You can basically jump that out.
Roger. I'll have to check, because I know mine was a little bit different from the average tram. It could be possible that it might not even be there. Some things about this tram were still the same as the D201. So it could be possible that it might not be there. I'll have to check. 10-4.
You might have an early production 201A. Because I don't think they will cut over to the DG6 tube till a little later. I think the very original ones might have still had L6s in it.
Roger that. Well, in my audio section, I didn't have the biasing, that little part under the board that they have in some of the other ones. But this is a Canadian version. So there's a few changes that were not made, and there's a few things that's in here that's not in the American ones, Roger.
Yeah, well, that biasing pot for the audio tube, that came in the very last productions. I don't know why they did it, but it was far less reliable than the self-biasing.
Roger. Well, we have the self-biasing one here with the 220 ohms resistors in line. The pin 8, and then on the other side we have the 6DG6, which I wanted to see something bigger in there. You know how that goes, Bagger. You looked at that little tube and you'd be like, why couldn't this one be as big as the other one?
Yeah, big tubes.
Hey Pete, what's the deal with your Kenwood thing? Is that you still have router problems?
Yeah, well, now on top of that, that computer is dead. I should give it back to Art, let him start all over for me. I don't know. It's been all really in bad shape ever since I tried to download Java, man. It's just messed up.
Yeah, because Dr. Hammer was talking to Night Train on the phone and says hi to everybody, and it got me thinking, geez, it's been a while since he's just been able to come in here and chat with us, and it'd be nice to be able to get that back again.
Maybe I'll drop Cosmic an email and see if I can drop that computer off and see if he can wipe it out and start it all over for me.
Knowing him, he's got another one in the junk pile somewhere, you know.
Well, that one is actually just fine. If he can start it all over, I could put the software on it and try to avoid using it for anything else, but then I still have to try and solve the router issue.
And your router issue is simply a matter of you can't remember your password?
Well, the wife changed it and she says she didn't.
Well, there's a little button on the back of the router that says reset, and if you power it up while you push that in, it'll clear everything and go back to the factory default.
Aha, I said. Alright, well let me cross one bridge first.
So if you know what the factory default password is, you'll be good. If you don't, then that's not a good idea.
Pretty sure I do.
Okay.
I'll double check on that, but let me see if I can't get the computer fixed first.
Yeah, one step at a time.
But, you know, at least I'm thinking about it now. I gotta hold of Art. Where's that KOMX Cosmic Radio? Part of the Spew Radio Network.
Yeah, I think you put the Cosmic scanner on a different antenna because everybody's signal's way down from what they normally are.
Yeah, Pete, Dr. Hammer is checked in, and he does say hello to the entire frequency, so give him a shout out.
Well, I'll see what I can do about getting them transmission capabilities again.
Yeah, him and Brent. Both of them we haven't heard from in a while.
Evening, Doc Hammer.
Well, it all comes down to a breakdown in technology.
Well, at least it's not a communications breakdown.
I can make it work, but I can't keep the shit working.
You know, if it was a tube-type computer, it would work perfectly over there.
You know, you may have something there. If it was a tube computer, I'd have it running in short order.
Tube-type computer, that would take up the whole room.
That's what I was going to say, Sandbagger. He wouldn't have enough space to have one of them.
And that's just the power supply.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to worry about heat either, because it would keep your whole house warm.
Hey, can you say ENIAC, anyone?
Oh my god, a tube-type computer.
It'd be in a different room, and then it could double as a heater for the entire household. And you just pipe that heat out there and run it into a forced air system.
Probably use more power consumption than your heater.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, and all it could do is just add and subtract.
Yeah, some things are definitely better with solid state.
Well, can't we have a tube computer with a solid state processor and just call it a hybrid?
Have a tube pump, you know.
That's funny. Hybrid.
Build me a hybrid computer, a couple of glass bulbs up on top of the chassis. You never know what we'll come up with. Right here on Classic Radio Roundup, Channel 13.
Have a tube final in it. Just a tube final, man. He had his computer. Somebody said, well, what's that over here? Oh, that's the final output.
This sounds like a job for the 05 Institute of Technical Excellence.
If you bring it, we'll blow it up.
Getting back to that little 10 ohm resistor, what did it do?
It was a current limiter, or bias. Well, actually, mostly it's a gain limiter, current limiter, because the tube, I guess, couldn't handle, the power. So they had to throttle it back a little bit, I guess. Didn't have the same plate dissipation as the 606.
Roger.
So basically, you take that little thing out, and you jump it with a solid wire. Is that correct?
Yeah, but when you do that, you're going to have to reset your biases because that's going to shift your bias points. So you'll have to go back in and set them again.
That's not a problem. Cameraman knows I know how to reset biases now. He wonders, will I be setting it again tomorrow? I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, you probably don't have to re-neutralize it, but you definitely will have to set your biasing.
Roger, not a problem. When can you set the bias without disconnecting that orange wire?
You don't have to disconnect the orange wire to set the bias. You just have to you do that for neutralization.
All right, yeah, because I had it all disconnected yesterday. I don't like disconnecting that orange wire.
Actually, you don't even have to transmit. I think you set the bias in receive mode. You just go to AM and set it for one voltage, and sideband and set the other one.
Roger. 24 and 32. Negative.
Yep.
By the time Night Train is done with everything, he should have a book written up for it with all he done.
Yeah, there you go.
The learning curve, Dave.
Well, you write it down so you know it for next time.
Yeah, 24 and 32. 24 and 32. Negative voltage on the bias. 24 for AM and 32 for lower sideband.
Either that or do a video.
Now I'll be on the quiz next week.
Roger on the quiz.
Yeah, you're going to get quizzed. Now make sure you know this stuff.
Yeah, man.
There's a whole lot of trickiness like that with this Demco. With the interlocking transmitter and receiver and separate receiver at times, depending on your switch position. Man, oh man, without a spectrum analyzer, an oscope, a monitor radio, a frequency counter, and a dummy load watt meter, if you didn't have any one of those pieces missing, you'll never get this radio on the air if it's out of tune.
Yeah, it's way too touchy. That's why I say I still think there's something not quite right in there. I've never had a radio that unstable.
Well, it's all right once it's there, but don't breathe on it.
Coupling capacitors, Pete. Change out all the coupling capacitors in between every circuit, Pete.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're interstage coupling capacitors. I replaced one, and that settled things down to this point and got rid of a whole lot of spurs.
Once they start to leak and stuff gets over into the next circuit that don't need to be there.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. But it's close. It's as close as it's been in 2 years.
Do you know that they have high-end stereo equipment, Class A amplification for audiophiles that do not have coupling capacitors? They are so finely tuned that the circuits do not have coupling capacitors in between. Because you pay big, gigantic money to have that equipment, but they do have it.
Yeah, they're direct coupled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to do a solid state.
Yeah, but with tubes, that was like revolutionary breakthrough in the 70s, but you pay so many $1,000s for the amplifier, so many thousand for the preamp, you were way up there. But I heard a piece Macintosh play one time, and I thought there was a guy in the room playing a grand piano. So I went in there to see who was on the piano. I really did. They got me that time. I went in there, I thought perhaps they were having a little presentation. So I went in there to see who was playing the piano because the guy was good. I'm there at the counter listening to him. Finally, I break away to go in and see who's playing the piano. And there was nobody in the room, man. And there was a Macintosh sitting over in the corner. I'm like, oh my God. That thing was beautiful. The thing was beautiful, and the sound was as if the piano was right there. Well, no doubt about it.
Yeah, lots of Macintosh amplifiers. They are the creme de la creme for an audiophile.
It was really something, but that thing had a price tag on it. You could buy a car.
Them glow-on-glass Fishers ain't far behind.
Yeah, those Macintoshes are like the Brownings of the tube amplifier world.
I had the privilege of getting a Macintosh from a guy for scraping wallpaper out of his house, and I didn't feel the need to work for a Macintosh amplifier. It wasn't a tube one, it was a transistorized one. And he said, you strip this wallpaper and you can have the amp, but I didn't want to.
Yeah. You can't pay for food with Macintosh amplifiers.
Plus, I had a real nice Yamaha amp that was made as an answer to a Macintosh.
Yeah, Pete's right. Those old Fishers are pretty good, too. I gotta get mine out of the basement before it, rusts away or something and give it a good cleaning up, and maybe I can get some money for it.
Oh, on a side note there are a couple of different size modulation transformers available on that Electric Radio Magazine website. I thought was interesting. So if you want to replace a transformer, brand new modulation transformers, or you want a homebrew modulator.
Name of that, what's the name of that says magazine? I think I might even subscribe to that.
Yeah, I submitted my subscription on recommendation of a couple other tube radio boat anchor guys. And it's Electric Radio Magazine. It's out of Colorado. And what did you say, Bagger? You got covered up.
Now I got a couple things to say. Is this an online thing?
No, it's a hard, regular magazine.
And the other thing I said was, how do they rate these modulation transformers? Do they just go by turns ratio and impedance, or what?
Well, my tablet's tied up at the moment. I'd get right on and tell you, but for tube equipment, and I think I saw, I don't know, I want to say a 25 watt and maybe a 60 watt transformers.
Are these modulation transformers, or are they simply speaker transformers for a stereo amp?
They are specifically modulation transformers for the, it says for the homebrew or repair tube radio enthusiast. This magazine is strictly pretty much dedicated to boat anchor type transmitter audiophile ham radio guys.
That would be nice to build a 25 watt carrier, 100 watt peak AM transmitter, push pull audio modulator. That would be nice.
I'm almost sort of doing that with that James Millen, I got that 60 watt modulator on that thing. Of course 25 watts wouldn't be enough, but that would be enough for another homebrew type project.
And that guy got a bunch of back issue magazines listed on there. You can buy back issues of them.
The January issue features the Barker and Williamson 5100. Hey, what do you think of Fifi Lopez?
I just think it's funny that you got almost an identical station to a 50s porn star or something.
I thought that was pretty awesome. And you know how that picture turned up?
No.
I went into Google search, but I clicked on, up top where it says images, clicked on Google Images, and I just put in my call sign. And all kinds of pictures popped up. A lot of my pictures, a lot of not my pictures. And that one was in it. I'm like, look at that, a multi-Elmac AS67 and a B&W 5100B with the sideband generator. Damn, with Fifi Lopez.
I wonder if she's still around, still talking on that old station somewhere. 90 years old.
That was a really pricey station in the day you're looking at there.
Yeah, Fifi must have had a side business going on there.
Yeah, Fifi had a couple of bucks down there in old Mexico.
She's probably Sweaty Maria.
That's what I imagined Sweaty Maria to look like.
Speaking about Sweaty Maria, I'm almost persuaded to believe she's on a repeater. She's got the best transmitter out there in DX land, man. And I'm almost persuaded to believe she's receiving on another frequency, man, because she doesn't seem to be daunted by us making little jeers at her.
Well, you know, maybe she know habla inglés, you know.
But when the operator Ron hollers at her, she should be able to understand he's trying to tell her to shut up.
Well, Porker Base up there, they used to ignore us when we were on 21.
Yeah, unless you were like right on top of them and they couldn't do anything but ignore.
Yeah, or you fooled them into being a, you know, you talk in their little lingo with truck numbers and stuff, and they'll call you in to the dock.
Yeah, I know. Number 7 used to do that.
I've done it too. The wife works up that way, and I used to pass by. Well, I still pass by, but I don't have 11 meters in the car no more. I'd do that every once in a while when I was real close.
Yeah, right? Drive on in, man.
Yeah, pull up the dock, number 7.
I think she's receiving on another frequency in that she has what is known as a transmitter. That ain't no CB radio. It just happens to be on 27115 down there in Mexico. You know, because she sounds better than everybody out there as far as her modulation.
Well, you know, somebody tweaked and tuned it, I guess.
They're special built transmitters. If we can get a hold of one of them, man, we could put them all down.
Well, we need Sparky's amplifier there, that Henry. He ever gets that thing working, he'll be dropping them all.
Can you say Barker and Williamson?
24/7 on 27115.
That B&W back into the pair of 250 TH tubes, stand aside.
There you go. I like that 250 TH amp. Those old style tubes, they just look like big light bulbs.
That thing's just an overall impressive 4-foot tall amplifier.
Looks like something Herman Munster would use.
With them big glowing glass Edison bulbs. Yeah, that's a cool piece of equipment. There's only really one or two issues left with that I gotta straighten out.
Yeah, once you get that modulation transformer back.
Coupling capacitors. Yeah, then I'll have to get hot on that amp, because obviously them two were paired together, so whatever it drives out, it's supposed to go in.
That's right.
It did it in the past, it'll do it again. When it was working for that little while, I was seeing 2K peak.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't think those tubes would do that, but yeah, I guess they would. Shame you don't have the 450 THs in there.
They made as big as 750 THs.
Yeah, that's right, I guess they did. That would be even nicer too, right? You probably don't have enough power supply to handle them.
No, the 250s are nice though, you know, that's right. Well, all I need is a band switch on that thing, and I'd be super golden.
Trust me, band switches are highly overrated. They arc and spark and...
Yeah, but I'd really like to use that on 10 and 40 meters, 75. I mean, I can't even, as is, I couldn't get it to tune on 10.
Yeah, that's pretty narrow, because I would have figured you'd be able to get it up on 10 meters. At least in the 28 megahertz portion, maybe not all the way up on 29 where you'd like to be.
Well, maybe that was part of the, one of the early issues, you know, and maybe I'll be able to get more out of it when I get it right.
Yeah, you could do a quick and dirty band switch there, put a little flip switch in there and just short out like one winding or something on the tank coil, and that should put you right square in 10 meters.
You know, I tried doing that with a tiny alligator clip, just shorten two coils together, the first two, and that didn't seem to help me.
Or if it's input then. You have tuned input?
Yeah, it has tuned input.
Yeah, that's probably part of the problem. It's tuned for here, not there.
Yeah, it needs a band switch tuned for all the different bands. Even if I could only get it to work on 10, 11, and 40, I'd be happy.
Ever notice a clicking noise when there's a message coming into your telephone? It gets all into your CB radio.
I remember back in the 70s when I used to have a dial phone, and I would dial the phone, and every time it would go, I could hear little pops in the radio receiver, little make-break spark gaps going on.
I never could figure out how that system could read those little things and know what number you were dialing, man, and get you right to the switchboard. And I never could figure that thing out. But it knew who you were dialing.
Oh yeah, I got my dial phone right here, man, hooked up and all. And it actually works. I can make phone calls on it and everything. It was fun showing my daughter what a dial phone does and how it works.
Does that rascal have a tube final?
It's just a telephone.
I got one of them phones down here. It's red with the dial. My grandson came down here and said, "Hey, Poppy, how does that phone work? Does it work?" I said, "Yeah, it works."
40 volts. Does it still work? I mean, like if you plugged it in today, could you use the pulse dial?
It's plugged in and I use it. It's my downstairs right here in the Radio Shack phone.
I mean, that's the funniest thing. I've got IP telephone here. It's not even it's Montage, and it even works with that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Doesn't need the 40 volts anymore. It's just listening to the contact closures or something.
I think it develops them. I mean, it's got enough voltage to ring the stinking bell in the thing, man.
Put a linear amplifier behind that rascal. You can put them all down on telephone. Well, how about it out there in telephone land?
Calling you from the bat phone.
Carbon mic element out and bang it on the table a few times to shake the carbon loose so it would sound a little better.
Yeah, I used to open that stuff up to see how it worked, man. It was, you couldn't tear the phone apart too much, but you could get the elements out of the headset.
Yeah. In fact, that brings up the story. I remember wanting to cut my sister off from using the damn phone too much, and the upstairs phone in our house, I stole the microphone element out of the handset. She gets on the phone and called whoever, and they couldn't hear her. She hangs up. Phone's free.
Oh,
You nasty boy.
Now we know what kind of person he was, huh?
Yeah, really. Schemer that he is.
Dave, you picked up on that, didn't you?
That was a common thing back in the day. The carbon would get all bunched up in there, and tone quality would get kind of paper cupish or whatever. And you take it out and you bang it on the table a few times and loosen up the carbon flakes in there, and everything would be good as new again.
I never really understood how that element worked. What is this carbon? What you call it?
The carbon element. It's I guess it conducts a voltage and. By talking, you got a little membrane or something there that would vibrate the carbon, and it would vary the resistance of the carbon, and that would give you your audio. But if the carbon got too tight, it wouldn't vary enough, and it didn't transmit the signal all that well. But if you banged it around and loosened it up again, and then it would be fine.
I should look for a junk phone in a flea market. Just to try and make a microphone out of one for the multi-LMAC. It actually has a switch position. It says, I think it says high Z or carbon. It'd be kind of fun to try a carbon microphone on there.
Just to see what happens.
Yeah, because carbon mics you have to pass a voltage through. That's the thing. That's why you can't use them on most modern radios, because they pass the right voltage through.
It'd be kind of fun to try it.
Maybe that's where the 40 volts come in at.
Nah, you don't need that much voltage.
No, it's a ring voltage.
Yeah, like minus 48 or something.
Yeah, that was probably my very first electrical shock.
That's a mild shock.
Yeah, you can get a little bite off the telephone line.
Yeah, I'd be in there looking at all that stuff and somebody would dial in.
I remember as a young kid, as you know, you're discovering and taking crap apart. I was kind of surprised to discover that the telephone, why does the telephone need voltage? It's not a wall socket. I'm like, I wonder if I could power anything off of this. And you start blowing stuff up.
Roger, well, I was surprised to open up little things when I was a little boy. So I opened up one of those jumping beans. You know those jumping beans, the Mexican jumping beans? And there was a little maggot inside of there, and he ran me down the steps.
Hey, and then they don't jump no more.
Why didn't you open up your mind?
It was already open.
There's a maggot inside it.
Yeah, that's what made it jump. I needed to know how this little thing worked. So I took it aside, got me a little hammer or something. I cracked it open. I looked inside of there. There was a little maggot. He scared me almost. He told me, "You go downstairs, you run." And I ran. I ran with everything within me.
Good thing I'll know not to eat any of those.
No, you never want to eat one of those. They might multiply. 10-4, we don't die. We just multiply.
And that's where the stink bug comes from.
Oh, they came from China.
Yeah, but we had Mexican jumping beans, so it ain't Chinese jumping beans.
I hate them stink bugs with my whole heart. We kill them around here. There's war on stink bugs. You remember when Bush came out with war on terror? He was war on terror, war on terror. Well, this is war on stink bugs at the train residence. Whenever we see a stink bug, we go for his life. 10-4.
Oh, I do the same thing. I squish them, stomp on them, skewer them, suck them up in the vacuum, spray them with carburetor cleaner, whatever I have handy.
Roger, I've gotten to the point where I'll pick up one with my bare hands. This is the kind of hatred we're talking here.
That was the first political statement of the night.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. I'll take back everything I said. Too late.
And 4.
It's too late.
Yeah, we don't want to go tiptoeing down that road too far.
I just hung a left turn. Left fork. Oops. Turn around. Go back. You need to take the right fork.
Train got on a siding.
Yeah, it was about a stink bug. War on stink bug.
Now, you mentioned Bush, war on terror. That's what brought the political in.
Yeah. I know now all you gotta do is get Pete in on it, and then you guys will have a bird. 10-4.
Oh, no, I ain't getting started. Not at all.
No, that's dangerous. That's dangerous ground to walk on there.
Dangerous Dan Donovan.
I got one statement to make that's political.
Uh-oh. Can't help it.
I can't help it. I'm just wondering why they want to trade these guys for and release these terrorist people. I want to know why they want to do that. If they want to release these terrorist people, I think they want to plant a bug in them so they can trace them down.
It's not they, it's he.
Well, whoever it is.
Cases are subject to change. Terms and conditions may apply. The tenor of the conversation may change at any moment. Pivoting positions are not alligated.
And the opinions expressed by the members of this channel are not necessarily those of Classic Radio Roundup.
Classifications are subject to change. Terms and conditions may apply. We want to pause for a station identification. This is 27115 on your AM radio dial. Classic Radio broadcast.
Show you right.
After hours.
Train Strazzy Tram.
Yeah, brought to you by the 05 Technical Institute and Whoopie Parlor.
You buy them, we fry them. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
weekend, what you doing, man? You just sandbagging? What else you doing?
That's about it. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto 5 all day, and I got tired of it, so...
Roger on the Grand Theft Auto.
By the time he's done playing that, he ought to be able to go out there and get a couple of them cars.
Yeah, that would actually be nice.
He would be too lazy to get up out from in front of the screen to go out there in that cold, cold weather to do what those little boys are doing in the screen.
Did you hear what they're doing now?
What are they doing, Dave?
I was watching, I don't know what show it was, but these car thieves, what they're doing is going around taking the VIN number off from under the windshield, writing that down and reproducing them and putting them on other cars and reselling cars under that VIN number.
Yeah, but there's something about a VIN number that's supposed to match everything about the car. I wonder how they're getting around that part. For instance, there's things in the VIN number that tells the color and the factory plant that it was made at. Yeah, they got to get caught.
Yeah, but how many people actually check that at the spur of the moment? You could go to a car dealer and buy a car off a used car lot, and that VIN number, they might have the title for it registered, but that VIN number might be in another state under another car that had an accident, and it's registered that the car was in an accident, and you bought the car and never was in an accident, but it shows up that it was.
You'd be like, this is a beautiful Ford. Yeah, it just comes standard equipment with a General Motors VIN number. Just sometimes things like that happens.
And four. Now they had a show on TV about it the other week.
They gotta make sure they get all the VIN numbers too, because there should be one on the engine, and there are a couple in the car, not just the one near the windshield.
Yeah, but when you go buy a car, they don't check that stuff out. They just check the regular VIN number, and that's it.
Yeah, check that stuff down at the auctions and everything. Well, after a while, you'll be able to swipe a barcode. If that rascal don't, have all of the proper information, the car is going to be condemned. You got the wrong barcode.
Yeah, sandbagger, that's what happened. This guy went to trade that car in that he had, and here he got a lot of trouble because it was registered through that car sense or whatever it's called, Carfax, that it was in accidents. They had 3 or 4 different accidents that was registered under that VIN number, and that's why they couldn't trade the car in for him.
Yeah, and then you start digging in a little deeper and you figure out that it's a counterfeit VIN number.
And 4. That's what happened. Now, there's some states that the dealer's responsible for that. If he sells a car with a counterfeit VIN number like that, you can go back to him and get your money back. But there's other states that the cop will confiscate the car and you're out that money.
Well, it'd be a good idea if they would hold the dealer responsible, Dave. This way, you're not getting burnt with stolen goods or a stolen VIN number, and that you have protection, and he would just have to be careful next time not to sell hot cars with VIN numbers on them. That ain't right.
And 4. That's what the whole show was about.
This Classic Radio Roundup, VIN number edition. Yeah, well, at least we got it off of the political thing. We did get one political statement slipped in there accidentally. The jury will scrap those last few statements.
The jury will disregard the last statement.
The jury can't disregard. They still remember that stuff.
All political statements are now stricken from the official Classic Radio Roundup documentary record.
You gotta go back and edit that.
It's on the video gate.
It's recorded. Video gate, didn't it stop running now?
after that political statement, he turned it off.
Well, at this point, I'll leave you guessing. You'll have to watch it online to find out where the ending is.
Still not finished listening to last week's Classic Radio Roundup Video Gate. Yeah, it went real slow. Finally, the guys started coming in. Big Skeeter was in, and I was listening to that when it was time to get up for real Classic Radio Roundup. So I'm on Classic Radio Roundup out.